and welcome to the roundtable, Dr. John, of course. Also, we'd like to welcome Donna LaFour, and also, if you don't mind, Brian D'Souza, and Mr. Michael Masden, and welcome. Good to see you, Mr. Patrick Lester. Welcome to the roundtable. So
Thank
now
you.
in the roundtable, here's what we're doing. You know, we're just taking a moment, and pardon me if I didn't, I'm just trying to do this on the fly. But diabetes is a rampant disease, and also Jerry Baker, please join us. Diabetes is such a rampant disease or illness, and it's been described as a progressive illness, meaning it will only get worse over years and time. Diabetes will become worse and worse. That's what has been suggested. But now, of late, it's determined that diabetes is not progressive. It has the capacity for reversal, and you can completely withdraw from insulin, taking insulin. Or I've met at least three people recently. Recently, one fellow at my gym, he was diabetic, and he just eliminated bread. He eliminated bread, and he started exercising, and his diabetes went away. And these are more and more people of this caliber. So I just want to take this time to engage and talk with each of us, and I want to pose the question to those that I've selected. Your experiences with diabetes in the healthcare territory, if there are, or even from a personal perception of events that you've seen and that are important for us to really become more conscious of. And from the standpoint, Dr. John has raised the theory or the principle. Not I use these words casually, but he's raised the principle theory that the reduction of the use of grains in our diet by 50% will start to turn your diabetes or your sugar sufficiency. Well, it will reduce your glucose, your complicated glucose, and that in itself will reduce your turn toward diabetes. So, comments, questions, and perceptions. The question might have been a little skewed, but just give me your perceptions of what you know that way.
The- I'll comment if I may. We've had some clients who were diabetic. One gentleman was in his 70s, been on metformin for many years. We helped him get started on a regimen that included some protein shakes that are low glycemic index, and Dr. John maybe can talk about more about that. And over the course of a few months, he lost, I don't know, 10 or 15 pounds. And his doctor told him he could stop taking the metformin because his blood sugars were under control. So, yeah, it's something that can be reversed if you're taking appropriate action, but you need to be willing to take those actions. And sometimes it's a sacrifice of giving up some foods that you really like. It becomes a matter of what's more important to you, that particular food or your health. So.
Hmm. Okay. Dr. John, give us your comments about this.
Well, he has raised a number of interesting points. First, metformin. How does it work? What does it do? If you take metformin, your blood glucose level goes down. How did it go? Where did it go? The doctors will not have an answer. You ask any doctor, how does metformin work? Second, the food intake is that there is, you have to sacrifice something. Let's think about that for a minute. What I'm suggesting is, no, you don't have to sacrifice something. You will enjoy your food more. Just to give you an example, how many of you can enjoy plain rice? If you boil the rice, can you eat it by itself? Very extremely rare, somebody enjoying plain rice. What you're enjoying is not the rice, but what you mix with it. The same with plain bread or pasta or noodle. You don't just boil and eat them. You cannot enjoy it. What you are enjoying is what you mix with it. whether it is meatballs or gravy or whatever. So what I'm suggesting is, are you not interfering or reducing the enjoyment of something by adding something you don't enjoy? You are
Mm.
you are reducing the enjoyment. So if you take that out, you can enjoy more of what you want to enjoy without the complications of added sugar in your body.
Very good.
That is what you have to think about. Yes, there is, in terms of what we are used to, it's a sacrifice. But once you
Mhm.
get used to it, you're not going to miss the rice or the bread or the pasta or the noodle.
Yeah. Now I've heard some theories, and we got two cancer survivors on the line today. Miss Patricia Villa and Mr. Mike Masden. Now I want to come to Pasden. Before we come to them, though, there's been some subject discussion. I thought from researching from today's subject matter, the use of those bariatric bands will, of course, reduce your weight and cause you to take some steps toward reversing diabetes. What is your take on that, Dr. John?
The How does bariatric surgery work?
Okay.
Let us think about it. You have a container, that is stomach, which holds the food. So you are forcing the container to be smaller. So now you can hold only less amount of food and you feel satisfied.
Okay.
So it is not the surgery that takes care of the diabetes or weight.
Yeah.
It is the reduced food intake.
Uh-huh.
The surgery forces you to do it.
Uh-huh.
What do you think will happen if you voluntarily do it?
Yeah, that's right. You did it on your own. You took the steps to reduce the amount of food that you ate,
Yeah,
and then you were able to reduce your weight naturally and organically. Makes a lot of
without
sense.
having to be
Right.
forced. Otherwise, you start throwing up if you eat by chance extra one day after
Uh-huh.
surgery. Why do you have to? What I suggest to people who are contemplating surgery is, try to eat the same amount of food that you are likely to eat after surgery, but before surgery for 3 months.
Right, right. It comes down to the pill that you want to take. Do you want to take the pill of not eating as much food? Do you want to take the pill of bariatric surgery, or you
Right.
want to take the insulin pill? Okay, but in theoretically in that discussion, you've made the point too, and consistently, that by reducing weight, there is the premise that you can reduce, your turn toward diabetes.
Not only diabetes, but also cancer.
Okay, also cancer. Okay, very good. Very
Yeah.
good. So, and this is the proper turn then. I'd like and please, if you don't mind, to see you, Patricia Villa and Mr. Marsden, please show. We want to, I mean, you're reversing cancer. And so tell us about your experiences and also what kind of experiences you might have had with diabetes, if any. Mr. Mike Pageant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. First off, Dr. John, I really appreciate what you've said and what you've written. Some comments is that as a cancer survivor at this point in time, I have found that there are many things you can do to protect yourself. One being, watch what you put into your body, as Dr. John talks about. One of the others is how active you stay after you've been diagnosed with cancer. There is definitely a shock to your system in terms of what you're willing to do, how much energy you have, that type of thing. But it is of utmost importance, in my opinion, that no matter how fatigued you are, no matter how bad you feel, no matter what's going on, is you have to stay active. So that's another part of the whole, what I consider getting well, staying well. And being active not only means walking or going to the gym or swimming or doing what you can, it also means intellectually active too. For instance, my intellectual activity since I got cancer, which reduced my physical activity tremendously, my brain activity has increased through writing of books, writing of blogs, being an advocate. Not everybody has to do that, but it is, what I guess the point is you can help yourself a lot of ways. One being internally, what you take internally. One is externally, the things you do, how you stay active, the people you stay around, the attitudes that they have, those types of things. So that's sort of how I have dealt on a personal level with fighting my cancer. And the other side is homeopathics, those types of things. They have helped me. I know they have helped me. I won't get into that type of thing. That's a whole different subject. But there are other things out there, natural substances that can help and keep the cancer away. And it's for me, it's worked.
Okay, very good. That's awesome, Michael. I
Elton,
appreciate-
can I make a quick
Sure, please, Donna.
in addition to the health implications we talked about here, which are devastating to the person, and diabetes is like cancer or heart attack or stroke or any significant health issue. It affects your whole family because they're all now drawn up in trying to help care for you, and the fact that they've got to adjust everything to accommodate this serious illness you have. But let me set that aside for a minute. When I deal with a individual or family where diabetes has been either a chronic issue or is already manifested in someone in the family, one of two things can happen. Either I can go ahead and put in their application and they may just come out with a poor health rating and their life insurance will cost considerably more than someone with good health. Or unfortunately, sometimes they'll get declined if their A1C levels are erratic and unstable. And so this issue is not just an issue from being a terrible health crisis, but now it's costing people a lot more money, not only for their health care, but just for getting their life insurance issued. So it has a big effect financially, from a health perspective, emotionally. It's all across the board for this kind of chronic health issue, whether it's diabetes or any of these others I mentioned. So for a family to be able to get this under control, and I want to ask you a quick question, Dr. John. So say a family has this chronic issue that seems to pass down from generation to generation. Can one of the generations completely alter their lifestyle and turn things around within the family? And then can they then kind of stop this?
First of all, there is no diabetic gene. You don't inherit a diabetic gene. Otherwise, you have the same gene from day one of your life, but you are not diabetic from day one of your life. So, but on the other hand, diabetes runs in families. It is a familial condition. Why? To me, it is because of the environment. So the treatment has to be family oriented, so everybody can get benefit. Now, in the same family, one member may be diabetic and another member is not. So the question is why? So this is why in my book, I say it is not what you eat or how much you eat. It is how much can you store outside your blood, your fat storage capacity. Because any excess energy you take in will be converted into fat and stored in the body. So if you have inherited a 15-pound fat storage capacity, once you fill that up, the rest stays in the blood, your blood sugar goes up. If you have a 50-pound fat storage capacity, you can gain 40 pounds, you still have normal blood glucose level. So each individual is different. This is why I call it an authentic weight. It is not based on the weight table. It is not based on the body mass index. Each one is different. So the question is, how do we know what is your normal authentic weight? As a rough example, what I say is the weight you had in your mid-20s, that is your authentic weight. Why? Because you have reached the maximum height, your bone density is the highest, and from then on, for most adults, what you put on when you gain weight is mostly fat, unless you are doing resistance exercise. So
Now,
if
Dr. John, you've just raised a very, very diametrical discussion. You're talking about, so in your mid-20s, your optimum weight, that was your optimum weight. That means your body mass index was equal, was exactly right. Now, for most Americans, getting back to that, that's like turning back. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Getting back to the time you were in your mid-20s. Ah.
well, in order for to avoid diabetes, you don't have to get there, provided your fat storage capacity, what you inherited. That is the key for lean
Uh,
people. What else? What can they do otherwise? If you do you want to control it? No, there's a big misnomer here. When you say diabetic control, the most of the medications you're talking about is controlling the blood sugar, not the disease. It's a symptom. That's controlling fever when you have an infection. If you control fever, you are not controlling the infection. This is why you still have complication. So if you want to feel good, most people, once the number is normal, they are brainwashed to believe they don't have to do anything. I
Yeah.
have colleagues of mine who are doctors who take extra insulin before they have a big meal so that they can keep their numbers down without thinking.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
So,
have all been brainwashed.
but the theory that 70 to 80% of our immune system is in our bellies and our guts and our large and small intestine. So by making that part of your body, or helping get it in optimum shape, then you're able to fight different medical conditions, cancer, diabetes, both in a better way. That theoretically. So,
Jerry Baker had introduced the meology analysis in his session. So a lot of you have just joined and are just new. So Jerry, if you could just put the meology assessment in the chat, because when you think about what Dr. John is saying, no grain, then you start thinking, well, if I can't have cereal, I can't have rice, I can't have bread. Dr. John, what are you talking about? And this is where Oline comes in. Oline is sharing with us aloe vera at about 2:30, and so there are many things you can have besides grain. And so Oline can tell you that, Jerry Baker can tell you that. And so I hope that there'll be some follow-up on this conversation as well. So I just want to open the floor to Oline and Jerry, and also Patricia, if you can show yourself and tell us about your experiences with health, we'd much appreciate it. And then anyone in the room who's struggling with diabetes or cancer, we're having this roundtable discussion. Please join in. We have another 5 minutes to end the session. So if you have something to say, raise your hand. Moderator Elton will let you speak. So you have 5 minutes to wrap this up.
all right, please. We need your contributions.
Oline?
Can you hear
Patricia?
me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am just joining the meeting. I've been here about maybe 10 minutes. But I don't know if you guys can see me. I can't see you now, but
Yeah,
as long as you can hear me, that's what's important. I am a diehard advocate of aloe vera juice. Most people have heard of aloe vera. It's been around thousands of years. It's nothing new. But as the doctor was just saying, I guess 70 to 80% of everything that happens in that body starts in the gut or the colon. And that includes, anything, because it carries bacteria. You're taking food into your system, and if that bacteria, when the stomach takes what it needs, and you have that other stuff that's just sort of lingering around, well, it turns into bacteria. It turns into poison, and so the blood is taking that throughout the body. So over a period of time, yes, you have things like cancer and diabetes and other diseases. So take a preventive approach. Drink aloe vera juice. It's full of vitamin C and other nutrients that help prevent diseases. Aloe vera juice is full of antioxidants. It fights free radicals, which lowers stress in the body and reduces the risk of chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer. My family is full of diabetics, heart patients, cancer. I mean, you name it, our family has it. Now, I've been drinking aloe vera for over 30 years, and I'm moving towards 70, and I'm not on any medication. Not bragging or anything, but I do believe that it's attributed to my drinking aloe vera on a regular basis. And of course, like the doctor said, you got to be active. You know, I work out, you know, I don't just eat and sit around, you know, I am active. But my thing is you have to take an active approach, and you can't depend on medications and other things to cure your ills. Like the doctor who that just said, you take eat all you want and then you do something so that the numbers will be low. What was and what is that? You know, so aloe vera is what I highly recommend.
Okay. All right, very
Okay.
good, very good.
So
Thank you.
Patricia, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, Elton, over to you.
Okay.
So we're going to wrap up the session. Anybody needs to speak, please raise your hand.
We got 2 minutes. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. John for his contributions, and also remember what he was suggesting, that by reducing your grain intake by 50% could have a dramatic impact on your health as it relates to cancer and diabetes. 50% reduction of grains in your diet. Now, and also knowing that your stomach or large intestine and small, 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So keeping your gut healthy, proficient, and actively, processing food, and also eliminating. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So Dr. John, just take a few minutes to wrap up your suggestions for direction on the 50% reduction in grains, and I don't know. Just tell us what you know, what we need to know. Also, and then Jerry, you can come in and comment on other produce.
Well,
Dr. John.
all I can say is just to simplify it in a few words. Nobody else knows what your body needs at any one time. Only your brain knows. And your brain will let you enjoy if the food contains something your body needs. So enjoy what you eat. More importantly, take time to enjoy. Don't be in a hurry. Take time and eat what you enjoy, but enjoy what you eat more. And then your body will take care of itself. You need to be, as she said, proactive to take care of yourself.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dr. John. I really appreciate that. The comments were so important, so incredible. Jerry, you had some comments to talk to about produce?
Well, just real quick, I'd put a note in the chat. I also put a link to our health survey there. You're absolutely right. 80% of your immune system's in your gut. So taking care of your gut is essential. And a key element in that is taking probiotics, particularly if you've had antibiotics, because antibiotics, they destroy, all bacteria, so including the good bacteria. So it's essential you start taking probiotics to build up the probiotics in your immune system and that keep your gut healthy. Also provided a link to some excellent products for building immunity, both yourself and children. It's never too soon to start taking products that are going to help you to build your immunity.
What products does Shackley offer that do that?
Oh, well, let me go back to my other screen here. Well, we have Shackley Kids Super Immunity Gummies, but then we have something called Nutrifuron, which was developed by the Japanese scientists who discovered interferon. And then you're familiar with vitamin C, and of course, we have something called Triple Defense Boost, which is a patented product that helps to boost your immunity, defend and resist complex helps. I start taking that and Triple Defense Boost as soon as I feel something coming on, and it just nips it in the bud, like we say. So, like basically, since I've started Shaklee, I haven't had really any colds or anything like that. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, your comments and I mean, amazing. There are incredible solutions out there, and I mean, and God forbid anybody, even on our line, getting sick. But we have to find an arsenal, or an arsenal of defense mechanisms that can help prevent. But right practices or good and true practices, as Olene discovered with the aloe vera. Defending against issues of your large or small intestine and stomach. So, with that being said, thank you. Such a powerful segment.